Hello everyone. I'm very glad to meet you again with one more lecture. I must be thankful to you for encouraging me with your help and support by watching my videos. So I got a good response for my previous videos, and I must be thankful for that. And with that encouragement, I've come up with one more lecture, and this lecture is the continuation of my previous lecture. So this is part 2 of the previous lecture. So before going to the lecture, let me introduce myself. My name is Paul. I am an assistant professor of English and also soft skills trainer at Career Development Center, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Dundigal, Hyderabad. So, as I told you, this is the second part of my lecture on the processes of word formation. Under this process of word formation, I've introduced 9 processes of word formation, and in that 9, we have discussed 4 in the first part of my lecture. So this will be the continuation of that lecture. In this lecture, we will start from the uh, fifth method of word formation, or I would say that fifth way of process for word formation. So let's look at the topic for today's discussion. As I told you, this is the second part of the process of word formation. So let's move on to the fifth one. So the fifth one is blending, right? You would see a mixture there on the slide, and with this picture you would come to know, you can easily guess what is blending, and you would be wondering how uh, this uh, picture related to our vocabulary teaching. So we use the mixie for different purposes, right? Even we use the mixie for blending also. We put all different types of fruits in that to get a new variety of that fruits, right? So we would look at how uh, this word blending is related to our vocabulary. So let us look at the meaning of uh, the word blending. As I told you, this is the fifth method of word formation, right? So what is blending? So look at the meaning of blending. Well, uh, blending is the process whereby new words are formed by combining parts of two words, usually the beginning of one word and the end of another word. So we bring up two words together to form a new word. So two words, right? So if you look at the second part of the meaning of the word blending, so no doubt it is formed by combining parts of two words. Then how do we combine parts of two words? So usually the beginning of one word will be joined with the end of the another word. Vice versa. Sometimes we take the beginning of a particular word and the ending of the another word, and we join these two to create new word. This process is called blending, right? So look at the another meaning for the word blending. A blend may be defined as a new lexeme. You know the meaning of lexeme, right? Formed from parts of two other words in such a way that there is no transparent analysis into morphs, right? This is the definition given by Lawrence James Boyer, a British linguist. So British language experts who said that a blend may be defined as a new lexeme formed from parts of two. So blending is a way of forming new words by taking two words, and in those two words we'll take the initial part of one word to join that with the ending part of another word. So initial part of one word and the ending part of another word will be clubbed to create new word. So that is what is called blending. We will look at in detail of the meaning of blending with the examples. So look at the examples. As I told you, blending is the process of joining two words, but we do not join two words as it is, right? In those two words, we take beginning part of one word and ending part of another word. So this beginning part and the ending part will be joined together to form a new word. You can understand the process of blending with the examples mentioned here. So smoke, S-M-O-G-E. So if you look at this word, this has come from the process of blending. So as I told you, we've taken two words. One is smoke, another one is fog, right? So from the first word, I have taken SMO, and from the second word fog, I have taken Z, right? As I told you, while creating new word under the process of blending, you take the initial part of one word and the ending part of another word. In these two words, smoke and fog, I have taken the initial part in smoke. What is the initial part? That is SMO. So the other word, fog, in that word, I've taken the ending part of that word. What is the ending part in the fog? Z. So initial part in smoke, SMO, and the ending part of fog is Z. So together we have got smoke. Smoke plus fog. By blending these two words, we have got the new word, fog, right? And this is very familiar word to you all, branch, and this has come in the process of blending. So look at how the new word branch has come in the process of blending. So as I told you, I've taken two words, breakfast and lunch. So in this, from the first word, I've taken the initial part BR, and in the second word lunch, I've taken the ending part of um, UNCH. BR from the first word, BR from breakfast, and NCH in lunch. Together we have formed the word brunch. So brunch has come from the initial part of breakfast and the ending part of lunch, and we have clubbed these two to create the new word brunch. Now heliport, right? In this word, the initial part of helicopter is heli, and the ending part of the second word is port. So by combining this heli and port, we have become heliport. Heli from helicopter and airport, port from airport. So heliport is a combination of two words, helicopter and airport. In the process of blending these two words, we have got the word heliport. And motel, very popular word nowadays, right? How did we get this? We've taken initial part of motor. What is that initial part of motor? MO, and the ending part of hotel, right? TEL. So mo from motor, tel from hotel. So by combining these two, we have got the word motel. So I'm giving you the examples for the process of blending. So blending is a process for creating new word by joining the initial part of one word and the closing part of another word. So we join the initial part and the ending part, right, together to create a new word. And we're looking at the examples here. Fortran has come from two words. One is formula and the other one is translation, right? So in the first word formula, I have taken FOR, and in the second word translation, I have taken ON. So by combining these two, we've got Fortran. And look at the word biopic. This is also well known to all, right? Because you might have read about many biopics of many philosophers or scientists, right? How did we get that word biopic? So we've got that biopic from the process of blending. So biography plus picture. So in the first word of biography, I have taken the initial part of biography, bio, right? And the last, another initial part of the second word, pic, biopic, right? So this is another example for the process of blending. Here I have taken two initial part of from both the words. So it means that you can create a new word in the process of blending by taking two initial parts of the two words, or one initial part from the first word or ending part of the second word. So you can form new words in blending by taking either initial parts or ending parts, or initial part from one word or ending part from another word, like that, right? So camcorder. Look at one more example. Cam from camera and corder from the word recorders. So cam, the initial part of the first word camera, and corder, the ending part of the second word recorder. So by joining these two, we have got the new word camcorder, right? Workaholic. So work and alcoholic, right? So workaholic, we've taken the first word, entire word from the first word, and the ending part of the second word, holic. So second word is work, uh, alcoholic. So in this alcoholic, I've taken the ending part, holic. So work plus holic become workaholics, right? Moped, MO from motor and PED from pedal. So by combining MO and PED, we have got moped, another new word we have created from two different words, right? And pulsar, this is very popular name among the youth, right? Many young people are using uh, the pulsar bike, right? Actually, this word has uh, formed under the process of blending. So pulsar, you might have seen this word on the tanks of bike, right? So this has come from the blending, from the process of blending. So what are those two words for this pulsar? One is pulse and the second one is quasar. So from the word pulse, I've taken pul, the initial part, and from the second word quasar, I've taken sar, the ending part. So by combining these two, we have got the new word pulsar. We have created this word pulsar using the process of blending. And email, everyone knows this. And the first word in the email is electronic and second one is mail. So in these two words, I have taken the initial part of electronic. In that word, I have taken e, and mail, I use the entire second word with e, so that I formed email. So this has come in the process of blending. And Bollywood, Tollywood, right? Bollywood. So it's a combination of two words, right? Bollywood has come from two words. One is Bombay and Hollywood. So in this two words, I've taken BO from the first word of Bombay and LLYWOOD. It is the ending part of the second word. By combining these two, we've got Bollywood. In the same way, Tollywood. These are all created using the process of blending. So, with this example, what I wanted to say is blending is a way of forming new word. It is one of the process of forming or creating a new word. How do we create a new word under the process of blending? So no doubt there will be two words, and in these two words we may take the initial part of one word and the ending part of another word. By joining these two parts, initial part of one word and ending part of another word, will join together to create a new word, right? So smog, brunch, heliport, these are all examples for the process of blending, right? Initial part of one word and ending part of the another word. By clubbing these two, we'll get the blended word, new word. That's one way. The other one is initial part from the both words. No doubt we'll take two parts from two different words and we'll combine them. In the first step, we'll take the initial part of one word and the ending part of another word. In the second type, initial part of both the words. We'll combine the initial part of both the words to create new words. We have seen that the example, right? Biography and pick. Here I have taken both the initial part of both the words, bio and pick, right? So you may take initial part of one word and ending part of another word to create a new word under the process of blending, right? Or you can take initial part from both the words to create new words. This is what is called the fifth process of blending, right? Now move on to the next one. So I will look at some more examples for blending. Notice that enough of each word is normally retained so that the complex whole remains fairly readily analyzable. Following is a partial list of other common blends. I've given enough explanation for blending. Look at some more examples. Sometimes you may use entire part of the first word or sometimes entire part of both the words to form a new word, right? So for example, see here, breath analyzer. right? And this word is formed from two words, one breath and analyzed. So I used both words as it is to create a new word, breath analyzer, right? Electrocute. Electro plus execute becomes electrocute. But here, so I've taken uh, the entire part of first word, whereas when it comes to second word, I have taken only the last part of that word, that is cute. What I mean to say here, sometimes you may use the entire word part of the first word and the last part of the second word. If you combine the entire word of the first word and the ending part of the second word, you will get a new word under blending. So best example here, electrocute. So in this, I use the whole part of the first word, that is electro, and I took only the last part of from the second word, that is cute. I taken only cute, cute, which is last part of the word execute. So by combining the last part with the entire part of the first word, I got the word electrocute. But if you look at the first example here, I used both the words as it is. I combined both the words as it is to get the new word breath analyzer. Breath analyzer, right? So this is another way of blending the words to create new words, right? Eurovision, right? The word Eurovision has got from two words, one European and another one is television. So in the first word I have taken Euro, and in the second word I have taken the ending part vision. By combining these two, Eurovision, right? So multiversity. In this first part of the first word, which is multi, and the second part of the second word university. In that university I have taken the ending part, which is RSTEY. There is no particular way of taking certain parts from the each word. So, but that depends upon the context, right? Multi plus versity, right? Multiversity. So as I told you, we have created this multiversity word from two words, and in these two words the first word is multiple and the second word is university. So in the first word multiple, I have taken the initial part of that word. What is that initial part? Multi, multi. And in the second word university, I have taken the closing part or the ending part of that. What is that ending part? Versity. So multi-versity. Now paratroopers as formed from parachute and troops. In the first word parachute, I have taken para, and in the second word troops, I have used the entire word to form new word paratroops, right? Telecast. Tele from the first word and cast the ending part of the second one. By combining these two, we've got telecast. And travelogue. I use the entire part of the first word, which is travel, and you can see that entire part in the newly created word travel. And in the second word catalog, I have taken the ending part LOGUE, travelogue, right? Telex. Here I use tel from the first part of first word, teleprinter. First word is teleprinter, and in that I have taken the initial part TEL. And from the second word exchange, I have taken only EX. That's also initial part of that second word. So by combining these two, we've got new word telex by using the process of blending. You know this sci-fi. So science and fiction. By combining these two in the process of blending, we've got sci-fi, means science and fiction. in the first word science, I've taken the initial part sci, and in the second word fiction, I've taken the uh, initial part again, sci-fi, scientific fiction or science fiction. So by combining these two under the process of blending, we've got sci-fi. So according to Quirk, the famous grammarian Randolph Quirk, so acronyms, clipping, and blending are three highly productive ways in which abbreviations is involved in English word formation. So these three types of word formation are highly productive in the language of English, right? Well, we didn't look at acronyms and clipping. We've seen only the blending. We will look about these two during this discussion. So we have seen the meaning of the process of blending, and we have seen how to form or how to create new words in blending with various examples, right? Let's move on to the next type of word formation process, that is, so next one in the process of word formation is derivation. So what is a derivation? So if you observe the word carefully, you will get the meaning, deriving new words from the existing one. So a word will be there already, and we derive new words from the word which is already there. But how do we get new words from the word which is already there? We will look at. So in the process of derivation, derivation is forming new words from the existing words by using bound morpheme. So you might have learnt about the morphemes, right? And in the while discussing the morphemes, we have discussed free morphemes and bound morphemes, right? So in the process of derivation, we use bound morpheme uh, with the existing words to derive new words. In another simple way, we bound morphemes are nothing but prefixes or suffixes, right? Or sometimes you may use inflectional morphemes also, like yes to make plural, yes to make third person singular verbs, right? Or uh, ed, past tense inflectional markers such as ed, walk, walked. So we call all these words as bound morphemes. Under bound morphemes, prefixes, suffixes, and inflectional morphemes also come under bound morphemes. So we use bound morpheme with the existing word to derive new words. So we form new words by prefixing or suffixing to the existing words to get new words. So that is what is called derivation, forming a new word from the existing word. How do we form new words with the existing word? By adding certain part to that word. Those adding parts may be prefix or suffix. You may add certain things to the existing word in the beginning or at the end to get new word. We will look at uh, the meaning of derivation with more examples. So we can derive new words, as I told you, from the root words. You know the root words, right? Uh, by adding prefix or suffix to the new root word. We derive new words to the by adding prefix or suffix to the root word. So for example, look at this. Recreation is a base word. So recreation, which is already there, that is the existing word, and I'm affixing NAL to that, then we get new word recreational, which is the derivational, right, adjective. So recreation is a noun, and by adding or by affixing NAL to that, we have got adjective recreational. So derivation will help us to form nouns from the adjective. Means nouns are the existing words there. To derive adjective from those nouns, we will affix bound morphemes to them, right? So here I affix NAL, which is a bound morpheme, to the root or the existing word recreation, right? So we got recreational, that's a new word. We got recreational, that is the new word, and we derived that word from the existing by adding NAL to the existing word recreation, right? See, another noun, boy, is existing, and if you affix that ish to that, then that becomes boyish, which is an adjective. So we are deriving adjectives from the existing noun. How do we derive adjectives from the existing noun? By affixing bound morphemes to the nouns. So these are all bound morphemes, and we are affixing those bound morphemes to the nouns to derive adjectives here. And now look at the next one, engineer. So it's an existing word which is a noun, and if you affix ing to that, that becomes engineering, which is an adjective. We have got a new word engineering by affixing ing to the noun engineer. Engineer is a noun, right? Ing is a bound morpheme. If you affix the ing to engineer, then that becomes adjective. So we are deriving adjectives from the noun. Derivation means deriving new words from the existing words. So how do we derive new words from the existing word? By affixing bound morpheme to the existing word. Here I am affixing, whether it is an affixation or suffix. You can add the bound morphemes in the beginning of that word or at the end of, either way, right? So now look at the second example for the derivation. Second example tells you to derive nouns from the verb. How do we derive nouns from the verb? So accept is a verb. You know the past tense for that, accepted, and past participle also, accepted. So accept is a verb, and how are we going to derive noun from that? So if you affix anc to that, then that becomes acceptance, which is a noun, right? So we are deriving nouns from the verb. Earlier we looked at how to derive adjectives from the noun. Now we are looking at how to derive nouns from the verb. Accept is a verb. By affixing ance to that, we have got acceptance, which is a noun. So deriving new word nouns from the verbs. Predict is a verb. You know that, predict, predicted, predicted, right? Predict is a verb. How do we derive noun from this verb predict? By adding ion, which is a bound morpheme, or you can say by affixing ion to that. So that becomes prediction. Play is a verb, played, played, right? How do we derive noun from the verb play? By affixing er to that. Then that becomes player, which is noun. So we are looking at how to derive nouns from the verb, adjectives from the noun by using the derivation, right? Now look at the third example, how to derive adverbs from the adjectives. You know the word clear, which is an adjective, right? Clear, clear trip, clear explanation. Adjectives are normally used before nouns to describe the noun. So, how to derive adverbs from adjectives? Here, clear is an adjective. By affixing ly to that, then that becomes clearly. He explained clearly. There, the word clearly is an adverb. He explained clearly. Clearly talking about how he explained. Clearly is talking about the way of explaining things there. Now, exact is an adjective, right? And by adding ly to that, by affixing ly to that, then that becomes exactly, which is an adverb. Now, beautiful is an adjective. By adding ly to that, then that becomes beautifully, which is an adverb. She played beautifully. So our classmate Miss Aruna sang beautifully, because once she was a great singer, right? So now also, so beautifully has derived from the adjective beautiful by adding ly to that. So I'm talking about how to derive uh, adjectives from the noun, nouns from verb, and adverbs from adjective. So in the process of derivation, uh, the verb, parts of speech of that word will be changed, right? Parts of speech of that the existing word will be changed after deriving new word from that. So now let's move on to look at some more examples. Noun to verb, right? Glory is a noun, or you can say base word, and if you affix fi to that, then that becomes glorify, which is a verb. Glorified, that's a part. Glorified, glory, glorified, glorified. Moral, moralize. How do we get the verb moralize? By affixing ize to that. Moral, right? Now, how to derive nouns from the adjectives? Sad is an adjective. Sad boy, right? Sad picture, sad situation. There in all these examples, sad is an adjective. So how to derive nouns from adjectives? So here sad, by affixing nes to that, then that becomes sadness, which is noun. Capital, and by affixing ism to that, then that becomes capitalism. Capital is an adjective. Capital city, right? Free is an adjective, and if you affix the dom for that, then that becomes freedom, which is a noun. Now, how to derive adjectives from verb? I'm talking about different ways of deriving new words from the existing word. If the verb is existed, then how to derive adjective from that verb? If the noun is existed, how to derive verb from that noun? If adverb is existed, how to derive adjective from that? If adjective is existed, how to derive adverb from that? This is what the meaning of derivation, deriving new words from the existing word. In the process of derivation, you affix bound morpheme to the existing word to derive new word. So how to derive verbs from adjectives? Here the word modern is an adjective. By affixing izd to that, we get modernize, which is a verb. And terror is an adjective. By affixing izd to that, we get the verb terrorize. So we have seen the meaning of the derivation. Derivation means deriving new words from the existing word. We derive new words from the existing word by adding or by suffixing the bound morpheme to the existing word. What are the bound morpheme? All the prefixes and suffixes are bound morpheme, right? If you add these, if you use these prefixes or suffixes with the existing word, we can derive new words, right? So this is the sixth processes of word formation in this. So with this lecture, am thankful to you for watching and bearing me in listening to my lecture. Thank you very much.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.